Dear Father, can you hear me? I'm all alone and I'm feeling empty. I'm paranoid, so I keep the blicky. Had to leave you in the past, cause you won't rhyme with me. Dear Father, can you hear me? I'm all alone and I'm feeling empty. I'm paranoid, so I keep the blicky. Had to leave you in the past, cause you won't rhyme with me.
Dreaming, but I'm still woke. Praying, but I'm losing hope. Standing, but I'm falling slow. I'm all alone, you wouldn't know. Picture me rolling, got them bands on me. Like Cuban.
Shout out to dads everywhere. I'm Lennox's dad, James.
I'm JV and Devin's dad, John.
Welcome to another episode of Present Pillars. So we started this movement to highlight all aspects of fatherhood, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you don't take anything from this show, just remember this one thing. To be a good dad, all you gotta do is be present. So today, our guest is Sebastian Lewis, Sr., owner of Beautiful Bodies. How you feeling?
I feel good. What about you, bro?
I can't complain, man. We here.
Yeah.
Glad for you to be here. You know, my personal trainer, soon to be. You know? So let's start this thing off, man. Tell me a little about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised here in Benton Harbor, Michigan. Went to Calvin Britton. Most people don't remember Calvin Britton.
Oh, yeah.
Went to McCord. Left McCord. Went to Benton Harbor High School. Graduated. Got 3 degrees, an associate's, a bachelor's, and a master's. All I'm in business with an emphasis in marketing and strategy. So that's just a little bit about me. I own Beautiful Bodies. I'm the owner and the only trainer there. And I've been in business now for about 12 years. So it's going pretty good.
Nice. What made you want to get into personal training?
Well, I seen that there was a need in my community for African Americans. So most African Americans, they have diseases that they can control. And one of the main diseases is diabetes. So diabetes too is something that you can control. It's from lack of exercise and poor diet. And African Americans are the ones that have the highest mortality rate over our white counterparts. So I seen the need in our community for it because there were a lot of people that were close to me dying from this disease, getting their legs cut off, going blind from it. And I was like, something needs to change. I was once one of those persons or young men that was destroying the community. So once I became an older, wiser man, I said that I want to contribute to the community instead of taking from it. And that's what led me to be where I'm at now.
Okay.
So you mentioned diabetes. There are actually a few more. I'm a CDC nerd, so I read a lot about stats on, of course, diabetes, obesity, hypertension, and all of these other things that we face. Do you think all of those things can also be kind of curbed with fitness as well? With
fitness and the way that you eat, because we eat a lot of saturated foods, high in salt. We really don't eat whole foods. A lot of us African Americans don't. We just eat a lot of processed foods.
What do you mean by whole foods?
Whole foods like lean chicken, fish, turkey, versus you eating a processed food that you just go get it out the freezer. What I mean by that is the box foods. So you'll eat a TV dinner, or you'll go get you a summer sausage or something real greasy, versus the whole foods, lean proteins, green vegetables and stuff like that. We shy away from it. We run from those type of things. So yes, if with your exercise and the way that you eat, yes, you can curb that because it's controllable. It's not hereditary.
Right.
You have any projects like geared towards kids, teenagers?
Yeah, I got this project that I've been doing for a couple of years now, and I only do it in the summertime. And I'm thinking about doing it all year round, called Beautiful Bodies Babies. So what that is I take kids from the age of 8 to 17, and I bring them in, teach them about fitness, I train them, and we have fun up in there while we doing it.
Okay. Any upcoming projects you want to talk about?
Well, I got the nutrition line coming up, so I'm finna have proteins and amino acids and fat burners. Beautiful Bodies brand, not Herbalife. Not on, but Beautiful Bodies.
Beautiful Bodies.
Beautiful Bodies.
Beautiful Bodies.
Brand.
Listen to me when you talk. When he talk.
And I also got probably in January, end of January, middle of January, I'm going to be meal prepping for my clients and people in the community too. So that's something else that I got going on. It's been something going on for years in my mind. So now I'm finna put it into fruition.
Okay.
So I need some of them fat burners. I was just gonna say that, but you go ahead.
You got it.
Yeah, man.
You got any? I mean, if we talking about gaining weight, then I'm gonna need a couple 30,
you
40
stay
pounds.
away from the fat burners.
Protein.
Kill you.
So tell us about your kids, man. That's why you're here. You know, the fatherhood, Black fatherhood, Present Pillars. We're all about giving back. We're all about loving on our babies. Tell us about your children.
Well, I have 9 children. I'm going to start off naming them. Sebastian Lewis Jr., Janelle Lynette Lewis. I got Sabrina Lewis, Lakeisha Lewis. I got Tracy Lewis, Unique Lewis, Sacacia Lewis, Celebrity Lewis, and Cameron Lewis. All these are my children.
Shout out to the Lewis gang.
All the Lewis gang, gang, gang.
Deep.
Oh, that's when did you have your first kid?
My first child was conceived when I was 14. He was born when I was 15.
Okay.
And when he was born, I was 15 years old, so I was a kid myself. I wasn't really at the time a present dad because I didn't know what it took to be a dad. Because me, myself, I didn't have a father in my life, someone that can show me what it means to be a dad. You know, anybody can father a child, but it takes a real man to actually be a dad and be present. I don't mean just providing for them. I mean being there for them, going to basketball games, football games, helping them with homework, spending that quality time with them. That was something that I never had growing up, and that was something that I wanted to do for my children.
How do you think that impacted you, not having a dad, and then now you have the Lewis gang?
As far as growth of being a man and knowing what it took to be a man, it impacted me in a negative way because I didn't know what it take. I learned as I went along because there's no guidebook to being a parent or being a dad. So I learned as I went along, and then I made a lot of mistakes as I went along, but I rectified those mistakes and made myself better and became a better dad from those mistakes.
What do you think your best lesson is?
Best lesson as far as fatherhood or mistake or my lesson?
Ooh, let's go with the
Ooh,
lesson
I like that. That's
and
real
then
positive.
the mistake.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say mistake because lesson is a mistake.
A lesson is a mistake, so we're going to put them together.
Yeah.
So my best lesson was to learn how to speak to my children without them having, you got to have some sort of fear, but not that fear to where they think that you're a monster. But the lesson that I learned was I learned how to speak to my kids to where they felt comfortable enough to come talk to me about anything, no matter what it was. And once I learned that, I felt like I became a better dad because they come to me, they talk to me about things that I felt that they would never, ever talk to me about. So in becoming and learning my children, the mistakes came. The way that I would probably talk to them, things that I said and things that I did that I would never do again, that I learned from an older child not to do with my younger children.
What's one of the biggest things? Well, how about this? What was one of the lessons that you learned that your kids told you that they didn't appreciate? Like maybe a biggest mistake.
So my 17-year-old daughter came to me one time and I was in the room watching TV and she came to me and said, "Dad, what you said to me and what you did to me, it hurt my feelings. And I bet you that you wouldn't do that to Casey or Celebrity, which is 2 babies." And I sat and thought about it. I said, you know what, Unique? I wouldn't do that to them because I know how it affected you. So why would I want to repeat the same mistake with them too when I learned from you? So I wouldn't dare do that. That right there touched me. I teared up. We hugged, we cried, and that mistake ain't happened again.
That's good you say that because most men, they think crying is weak. And actually, like me and James talk about telling a youth voice. If we're not going to listen to our kids, then we're not going to get anywhere. Yeah. Because this generation is changing. It's their world, right? From technology to the way we maneuver. If we're not listening to the kids, to the youth, then we're not getting anywhere. And by you listening to your daughter, now you're a better man for your other kids.
I am. That is so true. She made me a better man. I thank her for it to this day. A better father. Because she was my growing pain, believe it or not. She was.
Oh, that's a real positive.
Yeah. She was my growing pain, but we grew together because she was the child that I was responsible for.
Yeah.
You know, I ended up getting custody of her. The state head took her, and I got custody of her. And upon getting custody of a child that I was the sole provider for, that I had to be there, I had to find babysitters. Not, okay, I'm going to watch you weekend dad is what I call them. Not, I'm going to get you this weekend and take you back to your mama. No, I had to be there all the time. Make sure she got her shots. Make sure she was in school when she was supposed to be in school. Make sure she got fed. Make sure she had clothes, everything. I had to make sure with no other person until I met my wife and she came and began to help me. So
Shout out to wife.
Oh yeah.
Shout out.
You gotta tell them her name or something. Can't just leave it right there.
My wife's name is Katrina Lewis, and she's a great mom. She really is.
So what was that like? That process like getting married and already having children and all of that stuff? Because you always hear about like the anxiety of women choosing fathers. Mm-hmm. So walk us through that process.
Well, she hopped right in. So once I met her, I had a mother figure that I felt comfortable enough, because at first I wouldn't leave Unique with nobody. So she gave me that sense of security that, okay, I'll watch her, I'll take care of her, you know, I'll be there for you and her, because she knew what I was doing. I was in school, in college, I was trying to make a life, provide a life for this girl and myself, you know, my daughter and myself. So when she stepped into it, it relieved some of the tension and the pressures that I had, because it was a lot. I wanted to give up so many times. You guys have no idea. I want to just say, y'all can take her back. I don't want her, but she's my baby. Who else but me to do it? So through prayer, through God, I stayed strong and I made it through it, you know, so.
Man, that's strength right there.
Yeah, it is, man. So James is big on mental health, right? And I'm trying to get to that point. I had a therapist, he got a therapist. How do you decompress? How do you, knowing that you have 9 kids, you have your own business, you know, you obviously you're a man and going through a lot of things. How do you maintain your sense of belonging, your sense of peace?
In all actuality, I'm still searching for peace right now. But through prayer, I have a really good support system and a friend that helps me out, talks to me, and guides me. And I do a lot of praying. And me, myself, I got a mental illness, something I wouldn't talk about for years. And it's PTSD. Most people think that PTSD start with people that's been in the army or that sort. They've been in some sort of service. But I was diagnosed with PTSD when I was like 16 years old. So that's post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's deal with trauma that you've had in your life. And I've had a lot of trauma in my life. So I got what I call coping strategies and tools that I use. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. But for the most part, the PTSD is, once you get into that dark place, it's hard to pull yourself back out of it. Like, it's really hard to pull yourself out of that dark place. So I'm big on mental health too. I've been in counseling a few times, 15 months one time, 16 months another time. So I'm big on mental health too, bro. So shout out to you.
Appreciate you.
Just broke your knuckles. Shout out to you. Your hand fall off.
I had to look at it for a second. But no, I think that's a really big thing, because, well, if you could speak to young fathers out there, right? Because I work with young dads as my full-time job, and a lot of them experience trauma at a really early age too. And it's confusing because a lot of times people expect them to be normal, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. But what kind of tools can they use, or like different techniques, as you call them, to kind of bring themselves back out of that place?
Back up out of the dark place of fatherhood?
Right, because you mentioned, no, not out of
fatherhood. Yeah.
What kind of show we running here?
No, I mean, like, because you said your trauma came from being a teenager, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the young dads, they are teenagers or right on the other side of being a teenager. So, like, what kind of things, going back to that, stage in your life, could you have used, or different techniques could you have used at that age that you think they could learn or relate to?
Just find a positive place to be. That's what I would say. Because if you find a positive place to be, a mentor like yourself, then that'll help the young dads develop the tools and the strategies that they need, because they need men like us that's done been through it. So if they don't have that, then they're going to be lost and to be stuck in that dark place. They're going to want to give up, and they're going to run the streets and they're going to be doing all the negative things. But once you got a positive force outside of, because sometimes it takes more than your blood relatives. It takes people like us that's not related to them that they'll listen to the most. Yeah, it takes a village to raise them. And see, I didn't have that. All I had was a negative side of it. I was a gangbanger. I was in the streets. I did all that, trying to be accepted, with my peers. And all my peers was out here doing the things that my mother didn't want me to do. But again, there was no father figure in the home, so I ain't gonna listen to no woman, So, and it led me down a wrong path. when if I would have had those positive people in my life, I don't think that my life would have took the path that it had taken. But I'm glad it did, because it made me the man I am today.
Did you have any male role models in your life? Any OGs, any uncles to lead you in a different direction or to give you advice in any form or fashion?
Yeah, my mother's brother, it's her only brother before he passed away, Uncle Sebastian, may you rest in peace. He used to give me a lot of positive advice. So he was the more positive male role model in my life growing up, but he became more substantial once I got older. And he tried, but it was a little bit too late.
And I asked you that because my full-time job, work at the club, Boys and Girls Club, and I feel like I give advice every single day. And every single day I watch kids pass away from gun violence. I watch them go to jail from not listening. I watch them talk to their mom any kind of crazy way. And I'm like, what is going to be the aha moment? What am I doing? I wouldn't say wrong. What can I do differently to help out some of these young fathers and young teenagers to become the man that we want them to be to change this community and the world? Because it seems like sometimes it lands on deaf ears.
And that's true. Sometimes it do. You will have, out of 10 kids, you might have 2 that's going to listen to you. Those other 8, they're going to have to learn from their own mistakes. And then they'll say, well, Mr. Sams told me that I should have listened. So it'll take some sort of trauma or tragedy for them to realize I'm going down the wrong path. Until then, it won't happen.
Man, that's sad.
I think you said a mouthful, man. As we continue to push forward, even now we talked about young fathers getting in, but we also, the work that we do, and I say like James is spearheading our nonprofit. The work that we do, we're trying to get fathers to understand that they're not as bad as they think they are, right? They just need that push. They just need that leadership and that guidance, like for whether it be financial literacy, advocacy work, health, mental and physical. And sometimes I wouldn't say we're stubborn, but we don't understand that if I ask James, he could be the key to all my answers by just asking for help. But we rather sit and fail, essentially, than admit that we're doing wrong or we're doing bad or we're not in a situation where we can do more for our life and our kids' life. How do we change that thought process to help each other as black men, number one, and black fathers, number two, so we can be better people?
First of all, we got to look at that we're all related. We all family. That's how I view it. So if we look at each other like that, then our community, black men, black father, it'll grow. Don't look at, I don't look at you as competition. I don't look at you as competition. I look at you, both you guys, as my brothers. So if I got a question that I can't understand, I'm gonna come to you. I ain't gonna let my pride say, that brother don't know what he's talking about. I don't want to speak to him. He don't know I can do it on my own. That's what we as black men, we feel like we can do it all on our own, that we don't need to reach out to nobody, that I'm too manly to come to you and say, hey, bro, I'm going through this right now, man. And I sit and talk to you and I cry on your shoulder, like real tears crying on your shoulder. That's where the pride coming in. So if we open up and be more vulnerable, and then the young men will see that in us, and they'll say, hey, my dad or Mr. Sams opened up to me, so maybe I should open up to him. Tell him what I'm going through. And once we show them that it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to cry. Don't go through that stigma that say it's wrong for you a boy, don't cry. Right. You get rid of that. We need to get them out that mentality, because it's being said a lot, even to this day.
That's the truest thing ever. So does Beautiful Bodies, does it have a community kind of focus aspect of it? Like, do you have anything that you want to kind of push that will put you kind of like in that lane in this community of Ben Harbor? Yeah, so right now I'm working with Michigan Works. They got this program down there that help the youth 16 through 24, I think it is. So it's 16 through 24, and what I'm working with them with is to provide jobs for them. So they'll come to me, the youth will, and I really want to work with the 16 to 20, but I'll do the 24 too. So because the younger they are, the more apt they are to listen. But the program is based on helping them get jobs, and Michigan Works will pay them for me instead of me paying them out my pocket. So when they came to me with that proposition, I said, yeah, I'll do that. I want to help the kids, so if I can help them get jobs and they can learn from me, because now they right there with me, they see what I'm doing. And then I can tell them my story, my backstory, what I've been through, and you can do the same thing, because I was once you. I like that.
And that makes sense because, like, not only are you a fitness guru, but you're a man, a father first. So you are showing them that no matter what you go through, no matter what you went through, you can still end up as a success story, right? Is there any, and there's always been talks around Ben Harbor about a large fitness facility or program that's unified to one person. Have you ever thought about maybe running one program that touches the entire community when it comes to fitness? And how would that look like if you thought about it?
I did actually think about it, and I thought about making it an event to where at least I can get 50% of the Benton Harbor community to get involved in it, like at a park or something, do night runs. I had this idea of starting out doing night runs, real late night runs at like 4 o'clock in the morning from 4 to 5, running through the community. Yes, running through the community. And it took off in other countries. Like I got a friend in Atlanta, he was doing it. And he started out with like 6 people. He ended up with like 40 people running with him every morning. He a personal trainer too, running with him every morning from 4 to 6.
Wow.
Man, I can do a run/walk/jog.
I can do a virtual
/
sleep
stopping my
and
interview.
watch with 1 hour. 4 a.m.
So that was something that I was thinking about putting in. I got a lot of ideas up here in this brain that can actually bring forth some positive activities within our community that'll help the community, help the kids, and also help some of our older fathers too, because it's a lot of men that's too prideful to come to me. I can do it on my own. I don't need him. I can do exactly what he telling y'all to do. Why you training with him? But and that's another thing. We need to get out that mentality. You know, support Black business owners, support Black men. That's all. It's just support. If you support, even if you just repost something that I post that you thought was positive, that's supporting me. But don't talk down on the Black man. We got to come together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I ask that because we have a lot of fathers, and one of our main focuses is physical fitness, right? And we got the mental. We can get you where you need to be, but at the same time, you know, health is health, right? And health is wealth. So how do we get these guys to understand that, like you said, that it's okay not to be okay? You do need to run a couple laps, right? You need to cut back on the fried chicken, right? We do need to let go a little bit of the pork, right? So we can live longer for our kids, because that's our mission. We want to be there. We want to be better fathers, better husbands, better sons, better brothers, better uncles, right? And we can't do that if we down at 55.
We really can't.
Man, I'm glad you said that, because I know I said this on the show a million times, but that stat about the white guys in St. Joe having a 20-year lifespan above us. Black guys have been Harvard. That's insane.
That's real insane. It's nuts, man, and that's simply because of the way we're living, right? When every night I hear gunshots.
Right.
Every damn night.
I mean, it's a lot that goes into it. Infant mortality, you know, violence is one, health is one. So, but still, it's all of these things are preventable.
Even when you think about the way pastors, and I don't say pastors, churches eat, right? Oh, we got after church, you got fried chicken, pork, and pig, and greasy this and that. You be like, how are we gonna live like that? I know that they eat this, but we have to have a mental shift. We can't be giving our congregation all of the fatty everything and then think they're gonna be, you know, ready for the next Sunday.
My cousin said something funny. He was like, man, we made sweet potatoes sweeter.
You feel me? Our cornbread's so sweet. You know what I mean?
Put sugar in it.
Right. Yeah. We can't do that, man.
I think it begins with the mentality, though. So it's the mentality of the individual. We can preach and talk until we blue in the face, but until that person say that, okay, I want to live a healthy life. I want to be fit. I need to stop eating this. This hurting my body. And sometimes it takes a tragedy for them to say, okay, I'm going to do it. Sometimes it take a heart attack. Sometimes it take for the doctor to say, hey, you're going to die in 5 years if you don't stop eating this, if you don't exercise. And then, and only then, will they begin to say, okay, I need to get right. I need to get healthy. Like I say, we can talk till we blue in the face, but they won't do it until they're ready.
I have a question, and I agree too. What would you be your proudest? You have 9 children. What would be your proudest moment? And that's going to be tough. I want you to really think about it. Your proudest moment as a father, right? It could be a graduation. It could be, right?
Not no setup. I already know what it
Let's
is.
do it. Let's do it. I already know.
My proudest moment was when my daughter graduated at 16 years old.
Ooh.
That's my proudest moment. And I was there from the time she was born up until she graduated at 16. And now she's in college, her first year in college. right now. She started college at 17, and she gonna plan on going to a university. That's my proudest moment because I was there.
Nice. Present pillar. Now, are your kids
lighter.
physically fit? Are they in like sports or?
Oh yeah, they love coming to the gym. They work out with me when I do my boot camps in the summertime. All my children there, all the ones that's not in their 30s.
Yeah.
But my babies, they're there in the boot camps with me. Telling some of the clients, you need to do it like this. The baby, she really loved being in the gym.
Get
So
those
celebrity, yeah, and she'll say that. Get your knees up, son. I swear she will. So yeah, they involved in it. They eat healthy too. I still let them be children. Y'all can still have donuts. You can have pizza every now and then. But for the most part, what daddy eat, they eat too.
Right. So they're very disciplined. So how do you or have you disciplined them? Right? From on the other end, when they do something that is not quite up to your standards, how do you discipline them?
I'll take away phone. Only time you come from out your rooms, go use the bathroom. No TV. Nope, you can't go nowhere because they love going places on the weekend. So that versus the physical discipline, what I've learned is better than the physical because you're taking something away that they like. That spanking and the physical, that pain gonna go away. But when you tell them you're on a punishment for a month, you can't have no phone for a month. As soon as you get out of school, you come in, go upstairs, your food will be ready, you go to bed. So that's how I learned to discipline my kids now. And that really works.
I was wondering because, if I see you coming down the stairs, I say get to bed, motherfucker, I'm dead. I'm not just asleep. I'm one of the covers. You know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all get to bed. He's like, wait a minute. I don't want no parts. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny, bro.
I'm good. You don't worry about it.
With no weapons. He got 2 pillars.
Present pillar. You better sit down and go to bed.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey, but on a positive note, I love, because I live close to you, so I saw that you had tents in your yard, right? And that your kids would like just chill out there. Or did y'all ever spend a night in them?
We spent the night in those tents. We had the TV out there. We bought the
And I thought that
cord
was one
out
of the
there.
coolest things.
So yeah, we spent the night out there, slept out in the tents. It was real fun. We had food out there. We roasted marshmallows, had those s'mores and all that stuff. Couple nights.
Well, now this is a funny one, right? So me and James always go back and forth about like TV dads.
Mm-hmm.
What will be a funny TV dad or a TV dad that you relate to?
Damon Wayans.
Why?
Because he real funny, and him and his son Junior.
Yeah.
The relationship that they got, because Junior, he plays this smart dumb kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the way that he relate to his girls. So I really like that because I relate to my girls the same way. Very protective, and especially the baby.
Yeah.
So that would be my favorite TV dad.
Okay.
This is My Wife and Kids?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
my
thinking
wife
that.
and kids.
Yeah.
That's it.
Man, that's a good one.
My favorite dad would be the guy off of Everybody Hates Chris. the
man.
cheap guy.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's perfect.
That's 30 cents worth of electricity.
Man, I don't know.
What
who
about
I
you,
would
James?
pick, man. Who would I pick? I don't know. Come back to me.
Come back to next episode.
I don't know. It's hard for me. I can't think of the name of the show, but the guy kind of reminds me of my dad because he's a foreigner. I can't remember the name of the show.
So we coming to the end, man, and it's been a blessing to have you here.
Thank you.
Is there anything? Matter of fact, I got one for you. This section we always try to give advice to help someone help themselves, right? Help a father, help a young father. Is there any advice that you would give about the journey, the fatherhood journey, moving forward?
I would just say listen to your kids at a young age. Don't wait until they get old enough to listen to them. Listen to them at a young age. Spend a little bit more quality time with them than just watching movies or playing in the yard with them for a little bit. Just spend a little bit more quality time with them. Ask them how their day going. And be sincere when you ask them about how their day going. Just don't do it because it sounds like that's the right thing to do. And just spend a little bit more asking them what they think and how they feel daily, not just every blue moon. So that would be my advice to fathers.
Man, that just made me think of another question. Do you see yourself as more of a coach? Like, are you coaching your kids through life? Or do you see yourself as more of like a decision maker, like this is how life goes type of thing?
50-50. I see myself more as a coach, and I also see them as this is what life gonna throw at you, or this is what life can bring to you. So it's both 50-50, I would say.
I like that.
That's nice. Shout out your social media too, man. Let the audience know where they can find you, where they can book you.
You can find me on Facebook. It's Beautiful Bodies on Facebook. That's my business page. That's where the most of the content be at as far as my business, what I got going on, what's upcoming and everything. I put some on Facebook too, Sebastian Lewis. There's 2 of us on there. I think Junior changed this to Junior, but you can find me on there. And also on Instagram, Mr. Beautiful Bodies. So these are the 3 platforms that I use. Well, 2 platforms, but 3 different pages. But mainly my Beautiful Bodies page on Facebook. It's Beautiful Bodies LLC.
All right.
All right, John, let's do the before and after pictures he be putting on Instagram. Do mine, look.
We got it.
Look, I got a lot.
Man.
Get rid of it. Stay tuned.
All right, so that's James before, and James will be my size afterwards.
All right, they're gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. I'm gonna get
Put some muscle on you.
I'm gonna get
All right,
better.
y'all. That's Present Pillars, and we out.
Peace.
What's up, Pops? What a powerful episode from an extremely strong man. A man's true strength isn't from the size of his arms, it's from the size of his heart. Sebastian is an ultimate success story. Professional mentor, professional trainer, and professional father. If this great man can change life for the better, so can you. All love, fam.
Hey guys, remember to like,
Subscribe
and ring that bell.
for notifications on our next episode.
Had to leave you in the past cause you won't rhyme with me.
Dreaming, but I'm still woke. Praying, but I'm losing hope. Standing, but I'm falling slow. I'm all alone.